The security guards threw the bag through the air. It landed hard on the metal floor of the station dock. Clothes and small items scattered everywhere. A broken datapad slid across the ground and stopped near the edge of a walkway. Veltara stumbled after it, her legs weak from hunger. She had not eaten properly in 3 days. The guards pushed her one more time and she fell to her knees. Her hands scraped against the cold metal surface. "Stay out," one guard said. His voice was hard and final. "You are not welcome here." The door slid shut with a hiss. Veltara stayed on her knees for a long moment. She could feel other people watching her. Some were humans. Some were aliens from different worlds. None of them moved to help. They all knew what she was. They all knew her kind brought bad luck. She gathered her things slowly. Her fingers were shaking. The bioluminescent markings on her skin flickered weakly. Once these markings had been beautiful. The Shivani people used them to communicate emotions and thoughts. Now they were just signs that told everyone to stay away from her. The translator device around her neck beeped. The battery was almost dead. Soon she would not be able to understand anyone, and no one would understand her. She would be completely alone. Veltara picked up her bag and walked away from the restaurant entrance. Her feet felt heavy. She had tried 7 places today, 7 rejections. It was always the same. They saw her markings. They recognized her species. Then they said no. The Galactic Trade Station Epsilon 7 was huge. Thousands of beings lived and worked here. Ships came and went every hour, carrying cargo and passengers to every corner of known space. There was opportunity here for everyone except her. She made her way to the lower docks. This area was older and less crowded. The lights here were dim and some flickered. Maintenance robots rolled past, cleaning the floors. They did not care what species she was. They just did their work. Veltara found a spot near a large window. She sat down with her back against the wall. Through the window, she could see stars and the dark void of space. Somewhere out there had been her home. The planet Shivara, but it was gone now. A cosmic anomaly had torn it apart 5 years ago. Most of her people died that day. The few who survived were scattered across the galaxy, and everyone blamed them. The other species said the Shivani were cursed. They said the Shivani brought disaster. It did not matter that this made no sense. It did not matter that the Shivani had done nothing wrong. Fear and superstition were stronger than logic. She closed her eyes. Maybe she should just give up. Maybe she should find a way to end this endless cycle of rejection and pain. What was the point of surviving if survival meant living like this? "Excuse me." The voice made her open her eyes. A man stood in front of her. He was human, she thought. She had seen enough humans to recognize them now. He had dark hair and kind eyes. He was wearing work clothes that were stained with grease and dirt. In his hand, he held a small package. Veltara tensed. She waited for the insult or the threat. But the man just knelt down slowly. He held out the package. "You look hungry," he said. His voice was gentle. "This is food. A ration pack. You can have it." She stared at him. Her translator beeped again, struggling to work. She understood his words, but she could not understand why he was doing this. No one gave her anything. No one helped her. The man placed the package on the ground between them. Then he stood up and started to walk away. "Wait," Veltara said. Her own voice sounded strange. She had not spoken to anyone in days. The man turned back. He looked at her with those kind eyes. "Why?" she asked. "Why give me food?" The man tilted his head slightly as if the question confused him. "Because you need it," he said simply. "Is there supposed to be another reason?" Veltara did not know how to answer that. In her experience, yes, there was always another reason. People wanted something, or they were tricking you, or they were setting up some cruel joke. But this man just nodded to her and walked away toward one of the docked ships. She watched him go. He had a slight limp, she noticed. An old injury, perhaps. He moved like someone who had worked hard his whole life. Veltara looked down at the ration pack. Her stomach hurt from hunger. Slowly, carefully, she picked it up. She opened it and found compressed food bars, a water pouch, and a small heating element. It was basic but good quality. She ate slowly, making it last. The food gave her strength. The water helped clear her head. And for the first time in a very long time, she felt something other than despair. She felt confused. That human had helped her for no reason. He had seen her markings. He must have known what she was. But he helped her anyway. Through the window, she watched the stars. They looked different now. less like cold points of light and more like what her people had always believed they were, the bright path, the connection between all living things. Maybe, she thought, there was still some light left in this dark galaxy. Maybe not everyone had forgotten how to be kind. Her translator device beeped one more time. The battery was almost gone. Soon it would die completely. But right now, in this moment, with food in her stomach and that strange encounter replaying in her mind, Veltara decided something important. She would not give up. Not yet, not today. That human had reminded her that kindness still existed. And if kindness still existed, then maybe hope did too. Even for someone like her. Even for the last scattered members of a cursed and dying species. She finished the food and carefully folded the empty package. She would keep it, she decided. As a reminder that one person had seen her not as a curse but as someone who needed help. The stars shone through the window. The station hummed with life around her. And Veltara, the outcast, allowed herself to imagine that tomorrow might be different. That somewhere in this vast and often cruel galaxy, there might be a place for her after all. She did not know it yet, but that human with the kind eyes was about to change her life forever. His simple act of giving her food was just the beginning. The beginning of something that would challenge everything the galaxy believed about the Shivani people. But that would come later. For now she just sat in the dim light of the lower docks, watching the stars and holding on to a tiny seed of hope that had been planted in her heart by a stranger's kindness. The next morning came too quickly. Veltara had slept badly on the hard floor. Her back hurt and her neck was stiff. But she was alive. That was something. She gathered her belongings and tried to think of a plan. She needed to find work. She needed to find passage off this station. But who would hire her? Who would let her board their ship? As she walked through the lower docks, she saw the human again. He was loading cargo containers onto a small freighter ship. The ship looked old but well-maintained. On its side, painted in faded letters, was a name, Cheonsa. The man worked steadily, using a small lift to move the heavy containers. He had not noticed her yet. Veltara hesitated. Should she approach him? Should she thank him for the food? Or would that make him uncomfortable? Before she could decide, the man looked up. He saw her and smiled slightly. He set down the container he was holding and wiped his hands on his pants. "Good morning," he called out. "Did the food help?" Veltara walked closer. Her translator device was nearly dead, but it still had a little power left. "Yes," she said. "Thank you. I have never—" Most people do not— She could not finish the sentence. The man seemed to understand anyway. "My name is Hyunwoo," he said. "I am a cargo hauler. This is my ship." "I am Veltara," she replied. She waited for his expression to change, for the kindness to disappear from his eyes, but it did not happen. "Nice to meet you, Veltara," Hyunwoo said. He looked at her for a moment, thinking about something. "Can I ask you a question?" She nodded carefully. "Do you need work? Do you need to leave this station?" Veltara's heart began to beat faster. "Yes," she said, "but no one will hire me. No one will let me on their ship. They all know what I am." "What you are is someone who needs a job," Hyunwoo said. "I need crew. My last crew member, Dayun, left to start a family on Mars. I have been looking for someone to help with maintenance and basic operations. The pay is not great, but you get food, a place to sleep, and passage wherever the ship goes. Are you interested?" Veltara could not believe what she was hearing. "You want me to work on your ship? But I am Shivani. People say we bring bad luck. They say we are cursed." Hyunwoo shrugged. "People say many stupid things. I care about whether you can work hard and be honest. Can you do those things?" "Yes," Veltara said immediately. "Yes, I can. I will work harder than anyone. I promise. I will not disappoint you." "Then you are hired," Hyunwoo said. He held out his hand. Veltara looked at the hand. She knew this was a human greeting. A handshake. She reached out slowly and took his hand. His grip was firm but not too strong. It felt real. This was really happening. "When do I start?" she asked. "Right now," Hyunwoo said. "Help me load these last containers and then I will show you the ship." They worked together for the next hour. Veltara used all her strength to prove she could do the work. Her muscles ached, but she did not complain. She would never complain. This was her chance. Her only chance. Other people on the dock watched them. Veltara could feel their stares. She heard whispers. One captain, a tall alien with blue skin, approached Hyunwoo. Are you crazy? The captain asked. Do you know what she is? The Shivani are cursed. Bad things happen to people who help them. Hyunwoo stopped working and looked at the captain. Then I guess bad things will happen to me. Thank you for your concern. His voice was polite but cold. The captain shook his head and walked away, muttering something in his own language. Does that bother you? Veltara asked quietly. That other people think you are making a mistake? No, Hyunwoo said. I stopped worrying about what other people think a long time ago. Life is too short to live by other people's fears. They finished loading the cargo. Then Hyunwoo led her onto the ship. The Cheonsa was small, designed for a crew of 2 or 3. There was a cargo hold, a small engine room, a cockpit, a tiny kitchen area, and 2 crew quarters. This will be your room, Hyunwoo said, opening one of the doors. The room was small but clean. There was a bed, a storage locker, and a small desk. To Veltara, it looked like paradise. Thank you, she whispered. She touched the bed gently as if afraid it might disappear. Hyunwoo showed her the rest of the ship. He explained the basic systems and what her duties would be. Maintenance, cleaning, helping with cargo loading and unloading, and learning navigation if she was interested. We leave in 3 hours, he said. We are taking supplies to a mining colony in the belt. The trip will take 4 days. That will give you time to learn the ship and see if this arrangement works for you. It will work, Veltara said. I will make it work, Hyunwoo smiled. I believe you. Now let me get your translator charged. You will need it. While her translator charged, Hyunwoo made food. He pulled out ingredients from cold storage and began cooking. Veltara watched, fascinated. She had only eaten ration packs and processed food for years. She had forgotten that real cooking existed. My grandmother Bora taught me to cook, Hyunwoo said as he worked. She said that sharing a meal with someone is how you build trust. She was a wise woman. The smell of the food made Veltara's stomach growl. Hyunwoo laughed. Almost ready, he said. He served the food on simple plates. There was rice, vegetables, and something fermented that smelled strong but interesting. Veltara ate carefully at first. The flavors were strange but good, very good. This is kimchi, Hyunwoo explained. It is spicy. And this is doenjang stew, traditional Korean food. My people have been making these things for thousands of years. It is wonderful, Veltara said. She felt tears in her eyes. When was the last time someone had cooked a real meal for her? She could not remember. Tell me about your people, Hyunwoo said gently. The Shivani. What were they like before? Before everything happened? Veltara hesitated. She had not talked about her people in so long. It hurt to remember. But Hyunwoo's expression was open and genuinely interested, so she began to speak. She told him about Shivara, her homeworld, about the great crystal cities that caught the light of their twin suns, about the bright path, the Shivani belief that all beings were connected through starlight, about their art, their music, their philosophy of harmony and balance. We believed that the universe was singing, she said, and every living thing was a note in that song. Our purpose was to listen and to sing back, to add our voice to the great melody. That is beautiful, Hyunwoo said. I am sorry that your world is gone, but the song is not finished. You are still here. Your people are still here, scattered across the galaxy. The song continues. Veltara looked at him with wonder. This human understood. He really understood. They talked late into the evening. Hyunwoo told her about Earth, about Korea, about his grandmother who had raised him. He told her about the values she had taught him. Kindness costs nothing but means everything. Treat others as you wish to be treated. Stand up for what is right even when it is hard. She sounds like she was a great person, Veltara said. She was, Hyunwoo replied. She would have liked you. Later, as Veltara lay in her new bed, she could not sleep. Her mind was racing. So much had changed in one day. This morning she had been ready to give up. Tonight she had a job, a place to sleep, and something she thought she had lost forever. Hope. She heard the ship's engines start up. They were leaving the station. Veltara got up and went to the small window in her room. She watched as Epsilon 7 grew smaller behind them. The stars grew brighter ahead. This was a new beginning. She did not know where it would lead. But for the first time in 5 years, she was not alone. Someone had seen her as a person, not as a curse. Someone had given her a chance. She would not waste it. Whatever happened next, she would prove that Hyunwoo's faith in her was not misplaced. She would work hard. She would be loyal. And maybe, just maybe, she would find a way to help other Shivani who were still out there, still suffering, still alone. The Cheonsa flew into the darkness carrying two people who had just taken the first step on a journey that would change everything. 3 weeks passed. Veltara worked every waking hour. She cleaned systems that did not need cleaning. She checked equipment that had already been checked. She took on extra tasks without being asked. She barely ate. She barely slept. She was terrified that if she stopped, if she rested even for a moment, Hyunwoo would realize his mistake. He would see that she was not worth the trouble. He would abandon her at the next station, just like everyone else had abandoned her people. Hyunwoo noticed. Of course he noticed. But he did not say anything at first. He watched her push herself too hard and waited for the right moment to intervene. That moment came on a Tuesday afternoon. The Cheonsa was traveling between delivery points and they had several hours of quiet flight ahead. Hyunwoo was doing routine checks in the engine room when he heard a strange sound, a crackling noise that should not be there. He followed the sound and found Veltara. She was inside one of the maintenance panels, working on a plasma conduit with her bare hands. Sparks flew around her fingers. The energy readings on the panel were dangerous. She was not wearing any safety gear.
Veltara, stop!
Hyunwoo shouted. She jerked in surprise and pulled her hand back. The conduit sparked one more time and then went quiet. Veltara climbed out of the panel, her face pale. Her hands were burned, not badly but enough to hurt. What were you doing? Hyunwoo asked. He was not angry, but his voice was firm. That conduit is live. You could have been seriously hurt. I was trying to improve the efficiency, Veltara said. Her voice was small. I thought if I could adjust the flow rate, we could save power. I wanted to be useful. You are useful, Hyunwoo said. He took her hands gently and examined the burns. But not if you kill yourself trying to prove it. Come with me. He led her to the medical bay and treated her burns. The whole time Veltara stared at the floor. She felt ashamed. She had made a mistake. Now he would send her away. But Hyunwoo did not send her away. Instead, he sat down across from her and looked her in the eyes. Veltara, listen to me carefully, he said. Your life matters more than the work. Do you understand? More than the work. More than saving power or proving your worth. You matter. Veltara felt something break inside her chest. Tears began to fall. She could not stop them. I am sorry, she said. I cannot lose this. I cannot lose you. You are the only person who has been kind to me. If I fail, if I disappoint you. You are not going to lose me, Hyunwoo said firmly. I hired you because I needed crew, yes. But I also hired you because I believe every person deserves dignity and a chance. You have already proven yourself. You work harder than anyone I have ever met. But you need to stop trying to earn something you already have. You already belong here. How can you be so sure? Veltara asked through her tears. Because my grandmother taught me something important, Hyunwoo said. She said that kindness is not something you earn. It is something you give and receive freely. You do not have to be perfect to deserve kindness. You just have to be human. Or in your case, Shivani, you just have to be a person. Veltara wiped her eyes. The words felt strange but good, like medicine that tasted bitter but healed a wound. From that day on, things changed. Veltara still worked hard, but she also rested. She ate meals with Hyunwoo. They talked while they worked. He taught her about human culture. She taught him about Shivani traditions. Hyunwoo continued to cook Korean food, and Veltara learned to love it. The kimchi was still too spicy for her sometimes, but she liked the doenjang stew. She liked the warmth of it. The comfort. Food is important in Korean culture, Hyunwoo explained one evening as they ate together. It is how we show love. How we connect with each other. My grandmother used to say that a shared meal is a shared heart. The Shivani have something similar, Veltara said. We call it the light feast. When two people share food under starlight, they are sharing their inner light. It is a sacred bond. Then we have shared many sacred bonds, Hyunwoo said with a smile. Veltara smiled back. It felt strange. She had not smiled in such a long time. But it felt good too. Natural. She began to tell him more about her people. About the children she had known who died when the planet broke apart. About her parents who had pushed her into an escape pod and stayed behind themselves. About the guilt she carried every day for surviving when so many others did not. Survivor's guilt, Hyunwoo said. It is common. My grandmother lost her parents in a war when she was young. She carried that weight her whole life. But she told me something that helped her. She said that the best way to honor the dead is to live well, to live with kindness and purpose, to make the world better because you are in it. I want to believe that, Veltara said. But how can I make anything better? I am just one person, one survivor of a dying species. One person can make a difference, Hyunwoo said. I am just one person and I chose to help you. That decision changed your life, did it not? And who knows what you will do with this second chance? What differences you will make? Veltara thought about this. It was true. Hyunwoo's choice had changed everything for her. Maybe she could make choices that would change things for others. Maybe survival was not just about staying alive. Maybe it was about living with purpose. Hyunwoo also taught her practical skills. He showed her how to navigate using the ship's systems. He taught her about trade routes and how to negotiate prices. He taught her ship maintenance the proper way, with safety equipment and careful procedures. Dawn was a good crew member, he said one day. But she was not interested in learning navigation. You are picking this up much faster than she did. You have a natural talent for it. Veltara felt pride at the compliment. Real pride, not the desperate need for approval she had felt before. She was genuinely good at this work. She belonged here not just because Hyunwoo was kind, but because she had skills and value. One night, as they sat in the cockpit watching the stars, Veltara told Hyunwoo about the bright path, the Shivani belief system that had guided her people for thousands of years. We believe that all beings are connected through starlight, she explained. Every star is a source of light, and that light connects everything in the universe. When we act with kindness, we strengthen these connections. When we act with cruelty, we break them. The goal of life is to walk the bright path, to strengthen the connections, to add light to the universe instead of darkness. That is beautiful, Hyunwoo said. We have something similar in human philosophy. Many different versions of it. But the core idea is the same. We are all connected. What we do matters. How we treat each other matters. Do you think the bright path still exists? Veltara asked. Even after everything that has happened? Even with my world gone and my people scattered and hated? Hyunwoo looked at her seriously. Yes, he said. I think it exists because people like you still believe in it. Because people choose kindness even when the world is cruel. The path is not out there in the stars. It is in here. He tapped his chest over his heart. It is in the choices we make every day. Veltara felt something shift inside her. For 5 years she had been lost. She had been surviving but not living. She had forgotten what it meant to have purpose, to have hope, to have connection. But now, sitting in this small ship with this kind human, she felt something she thought was gone forever. She felt like she was on the right path. Like she was walking towards something good. Like there was a future worth living for. Thank you, Hyunwoo, she said softly. For everything. For seeing me as a person. For teaching me that I do not have to earn basic kindness. For showing me that the bright path still exists. You do not have to thank me, Hyunwoo said. We are crew. We take care of each other. That is what crew does. And for the first time since her world died, Veltara felt like she had found a new home. Not a place, but a person, a friend. Someone who valued her not despite what she was, but simply because she was. The Cheonsa continued through space, carrying 2 people who had formed an unlikely bond. A bond that would soon be tested in ways neither of them could imagine. The Cheonsa approached Titan Colony on a cold morning. The colony sat on Saturn's largest moon, a sprawling complex of domed habitats and industrial facilities. It was one of the larger human settlements in the outer system, home to nearly 10,000 people. Hyunwoo had taken a contract to deliver specialized equipment for the methane processing plants. It was good pay for a relatively simple delivery. He was in a good mood as they landed at the main docking facility. Standard procedure, he told Veltara. We dock, they inspect the cargo, we help unload, we get paid, and we leave. Should take about 6 hours total. But things did not go as planned. The dock supervisor, a man named Tae-young, came aboard to inspect the cargo. He was tall and serious-looking, with gray hair and hard eyes. He checked the manifest against the containers, nodding as he verified each item. Then he saw Veltara. His face changed instantly. The professional demeanor vanished, replaced by shock and then anger. What is this? He demanded, pointing at Veltara. What is a Shivani doing on your ship? She is my crew, Hyunwoo said calmly. Is there a problem? Is there a problem? Tae-young repeated. His voice was rising. Yes, there is a problem. She cannot be here. She cannot set foot on this colony. I want her confined to the ship, or better yet, I want you to leave immediately. Veltara felt her stomach drop. She had known this would happen eventually. She had hoped, foolishly, that maybe it would not, but here it was. The same prejudice, the same fear, the same hatred. Governor Tae-young, Yunwoo said. His voice was still calm, but there was steel in it now. Veltara is a member of my crew. She has done nothing wrong. She has every right to be here. Her kind brings disaster, Tae-young said. Everyone knows this. Their world was destroyed because they were cursed. And now they spread that curse wherever they go. I will not allow it here. Not on my colony. Not after what happened to my brother. Your brother? Hyunwoo asked. Tae-young's face darkened. 5 years ago, my brother was on a shipping route near where the Shivani homeworld used to be. His ship was caught in a gravitic anomaly. No survivors. The Shivani disaster killed him, and you expect me to welcome one of them here? I am sorry for your loss, Hyunwoo said. But your brother's death was not Veltara's fault. She did not cause the anomaly that destroyed her world. She is a victim just like your brother was. I do not care, Tae-young said flatly. She leaves or you both leave. And if you both leave, you will be blacklisted from this colony. You will never work here again. Choose. Hyunwoo looked at Veltara. She could see him thinking, weighing his options. This contract was worth a lot of money. Money he needed. The Cheonsa was an old ship. It needed repairs. He needed to eat. He needed to work. If he chose her over the contract, he would lose everything. It is okay, Veltara said quietly. I will stay on the ship. You can do the delivery. I do not want you to lose the work because of me. Hyunwoo shook his head. No, he said. He looked at Tae-young. She is my crew. If she is not welcome, then neither am I. We will take our cargo and leave. Veltara's eyes went wide. Hyunwoo, no. You need this money. I need to be able to look at myself in the mirror, Hyunwoo said. And I cannot do that if I abandon my principles every time it becomes inconvenient. We are leaving. Tae-young's face turned red with anger. You are making a serious mistake. I have influence with the Outer Colonies Trade Association. When I tell them about this, you will find it very hard to get work anywhere in this system. Then I will work somewhere else, Hyunwoo said. Before Tae-young could respond, an alarm began to blare. Red lights flashed throughout the docking bay. An automated voice spoke over the intercom. Emergency. Methane Processing Facility 3 experiencing critical failure. All personnel evacuate the area immediately. Emergency. Tae-young's communicator crackled to life. A panicked voice came through. Governor, we have a major problem. The biotech safety systems are malfunctioning. We cannot shut down the reaction. If we do not fix it in the next 30 minutes, the whole facility will explode. We have tried everything. The engineers do not understand the system. Tae-young went pale. How many people are in that facility? 347, sir. We are evacuating, but if it explodes, the blast will take out half the colony. Veltara stepped forward. What kind of biotech safety system? She asked. Tae-young barely looked at her. I do not have time for you right now. What kind of system? Veltara repeated more forcefully. It is old Trellin Corporation technology, the voice on the communicator said. Organic neural interface systems. We bought it surplus 20 years ago. No one here really understands how it works. We just know it keeps the reaction stable. Veltara's eyes lit up. I know that system. The Trellin Corporation based their technology on Shivani biotech. We invented the organic neural interface. I can fix it. Tae-young stared at her. You can fix it? Yes, Veltara said. But I will need access to the facility, and I will need to work quickly. For a long moment, Tae-young did not move. Veltara could see the conflict in his face. He hated her. He blamed her people for his brother's death. But 347 lives hung in the balance. His people, his responsibility. Fine, he said finally. But I am coming with you. And if this is some kind of trick, it is not a trick, Hyunwoo said. She is trying to save your people. The least you can do is let her try. They ran through the colony corridors. Veltara's heart pounded. She had not worked with biotech systems since her world died. But the knowledge was still there, deep in her memory. The Shivani had been masters of biotechnology. They had created living machines that could think and adapt. It was their greatest achievement. The facility was in chaos when they arrived. Engineers were still evacuating. Alarms screamed. The main reactor chamber glowed with dangerous energy. Veltara went straight to the control panel. She placed her hands on the organic interface. The system was alive in a way. It had a nervous system made of engineered cells. It could feel. It could respond, but it was in pain. It was confused and frightened. Veltara closed her eyes. Her own bioluminescent markings began to glow. This was an old technique, one the Shivani had used to communicate with their biotechnology. She let her consciousness merge with the system. She felt its fear. She understood its problem. The system had been neglected, improperly maintained. It was dying, and in its death throes, it was losing control of the reactions it was supposed to regulate. "I need you to do exactly as I say," Veltara said to the engineers. Her voice was distant, distracted. Most of her awareness was inside the system now. Reduce power to conduit 7 by 40%. Increase nutrient flow to the central ganglion. "Do it now." The engineers hesitated. Tae-young nodded at them. "Do what she says." They obeyed. Veltara continued to work, speaking instructions in a steady stream. "Adjust this. Modify that. Reroute power here." It was like surgery, delicate and precise. Hyunwoo stood nearby watching. He could not help with the technical work, but he could be there. He could support her. 20 minutes passed. Then 25. The reactor chamber's glow began to stabilize. The screaming alarms quieted to warning beeps. At 28 minutes, Veltara opened her eyes. Her markings faded. She looked exhausted. "It is done," she said. "The system is stable. But you need to properly maintain it. Hire someone who understands biotech, or replace it with something your engineers can handle. It will not survive another 5 years of neglect." She swayed slightly. Hyunwoo caught her before she fell. "Easy," he said. "You did it. You saved them." Tae-young stood frozen. Around him, his engineers were confirming what Veltara had said. The system was stable. The crisis was over. The colony was safe. 347 people were alive because of the Shivani woman he had wanted to turn away. Tae-young started to speak, then stopped. He looked at Veltara with new eyes. Not with hatred. Not with fear. But with something else. Something like shame. "Thank you," he said finally. "You saved my people. I was wrong about you." "I was wrong about everything." "You were hurt," Veltara said gently. "You lost your brother. Pain makes us do and think things we normally would not." "I understand." Tae-young shook his head. "That is no excuse. I judged you for what you are instead of who you are. That was wrong. I hope you can forgive me." "There is nothing to forgive," Veltara said. "You gave me a chance to help." "That is enough." Word spread quickly through the colony. The Shivani woman had saved Titan. People who had been ready to throw her out now looked at her with respect. With gratitude. Hyunwoo smiled. He had known all along that Veltara was special. Now others were starting to see it too. But neither of them realized yet how far this moment would spread. How many people would hear this story. How everything was about to change. 2 weeks after the Titan colony incident, Veltara was cleaning the cargo hold when Hyunwoo called her to the cockpit. His voice sounded strange, excited but also worried. "You need to see this," he said. Veltara climbed up to the cockpit. Hyunwoo was watching a news broadcast on the main screen. A journalist was speaking. Her name appeared at the bottom of the screen. Jiwon Park Independent News Network. "The story coming out of Titan colony has captured the attention of human space," Jiwon was saying. "A member of the Shivani species, long considered cursed and unwanted throughout the galaxy, prevented a disaster that would have killed hundreds. Her name is Veltara, and she is the crew member of a small cargo ship called the Cheonsa. Today we ask an important question. Have we been wrong about the Shivani? Have we allowed prejudice and superstition to blind us to the truth?" The broadcast showed footage of Titan colony, interviews with survivors. Tae-young himself appeared, speaking with obvious emotion. "I wanted her gone," he said to the camera. "I blamed her people for my brother's death. But she saved my colony. She saved my people. I was wrong, and I think many of us have been wrong for a very long time." Veltara watched in shock. Her hands were shaking. I do not understand. "Why would they make news about this?" "Because it matters," Hyunwoo said. "Because people need to know the truth. Jiwon is a good journalist. She tells stories that challenge people's assumptions. And your story is powerful." The broadcast continued. Jiwon had done research. She talked about the Shivani civilization, about what they had achieved before the cosmic anomaly destroyed their world, about the surviving Shivani scattered across the galaxy, hiding their identity, living in fear and poverty. There are fewer than 1,000 Shivani left alive, Jiwon said. 1,000 survivors of a once great civilization, and we have treated them like vermin, like carriers of bad luck. It is time we asked ourselves what kind of people we want to be. Do we let innocent refugees suffer because of superstition, or do we show them the compassion that any advanced society should offer to those in need? Messages started coming in, dozens of them, then hundreds. Some were supportive. People expressing admiration for what Veltara had done. People saying they were ashamed of how the Shivani had been treated. But not all the messages were kind. Some were angry. Some were threatening. You should not have saved them, one message read. The Shivani are cursed. Now you have brought that curse to Titan. They will suffer for this. Another said, traitor to your own kind, helping that alien filth. You will regret this. Veltara read the messages with growing fear. Hyunwoo, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I should not have helped. Now you are in danger because of me. No, Hyunwoo said firmly. You did the right thing. These people are wrong. They are afraid, and fear makes people cruel. But look at all the positive messages too. Look at how many people are supporting you. He was right. For every hateful message, there were 3 or 4 supportive ones. People thanking Veltara. People offering help. People saying they wanted to do more for the Shivani refugees. Then came a message that changed everything. It was audio only, and when it played, Veltara gasped. The voice was speaking in Shivani. Her language. She had not heard it in 5 years. My name is Ralvin, the voice said, trembling with emotion. I am Shivani. I have been hiding on Station Proxima for 3 years, pretending to be a Grelin. I clean floors and empty waste collectors. No one knows what I really am. But I saw the news about you, sister. I saw your face and your markings, and I heard your name. And for the first time in 3 years, I spoke my own language out loud. I am crying as I record this. I thought I was the only one left. I thought I would die alone, never hearing our tongue again. Thank you. Thank you for giving me hope. Thank you for showing the galaxy that we are not monsters. Thank you for being brave when I have been a coward. Veltara was crying. She replayed the message 3 times. Another Shivani, alive, speaking to her. She was not alone. More messages came from other Shivani. They had been hiding all across human space and beyond, working menial jobs under false identities, living in constant fear. But now, seeing what Veltara had done, they were reaching out. Carefully, nervously, but reaching out. There are so many of us, Veltara whispered. I thought maybe a few dozen survived. But there are hundreds. Maybe more. This is good, Hyunwoo said. This is very good. Your people can start to reconnect. You can help each other. But the positive attention brought negative attention too. The Cheonsa was docked at a station for refueling when Hyunwoo noticed someone tampering with his ship. He chased them off, but when he inspected the ship, he found scratches on the hull. Words carved into the metal. Alien lover. Cursebringer. Death ship. Veltara saw the words and felt sick. This is my fault. You should leave me somewhere. Go back to your normal life. You do not deserve this. What I deserve is to choose who I work with, Hyunwoo said. And I choose you. Some idiots with knives are not going to change that. But it got worse. At another station, they found a bomb in their cargo bay. A crude device, but it would have destroyed the ship if it had gone off. Hyunwoo found it only because Veltara's enhanced senses detected the unusual energy signature. They reported it to station security. The authorities investigated but found nothing. No one had seen anything. No one knew who had planted the bomb. Someone wants us dead, Veltara said. Someone wants to stop what is happening. She was right. Reports were coming in from across the galaxy. Other Shivani who had revealed themselves were being attacked. Some were hurt. Some disappeared. There were rumors of a group called the Purification Fleet. Extremists who believed the Shivani were a cosmic contamination that needed to be eliminated. Meanwhile, the United Earth Coalition was debating what to do. Some politicians argued that Earth should offer sanctuary to the Shivani. Others argued that getting involved would damage Earth's relationships with other species. The debates were heated and public. Hyunwoo watched the political discussions with frustration. They are arguing about principles while real people are in danger. This is not about politics. This is about lives. Then came a message that made everything more serious. It was from the UEC Navy. Lieutenant Sujin Kim wanted to speak with them privately. They arranged a secure communication link. Sujin appeared on screen. She was young, probably in her late 20s, with sharp eyes and a serious expression. "I am not supposed to be contacting you," she said. "What I'm about to tell you is not official. But you need to know. The Purification Fleet is real. They are a coalition of extremist groups from several species, and they are hunting Shivani. They have already killed at least a dozen." Veltara felt cold. "Why are you telling us this?" "Because I believe you're right," Sujin said. "I believe the Shivani deserve protection, and I am not alone. There are many in the UEC Navy who feel the same way. We are trying to convince our leadership to take action, but it is slow. Bureaucracy moves slowly. In the meantime, you need to be careful." "What do you suggest?" Hyunwoo asked. "Stay in human space," Sujin said. "The Purification Fleet operates mostly in neutral zones where no one can stop them. In human territory, they are more cautious. And gather the Shivani together if you can. There is safety in numbers. If enough of your people come together in one place, we can protect you better." After the call ended, Hyunwoo and Veltara sat in silence for a long time. "Are you thinking what I am thinking?" Hyunwoo finally asked. Veltara nodded slowly. "A gathering. Bring the Shivani together. But where? And how?" "I have some ideas," Hyunwoo said. "And I have some favors I can call in. But it will be dangerous. The Purification Fleet will try to stop us." "Then we will need help," Veltara said. "Not just from the military. From ordinary people. From people like you who believe that doing the right thing matters more than being safe." Hyunwoo smiled. "I think I know some people like that." He began making calls, reaching out to other cargo haulers, other independent ship captains, people he had worked with over the years, people who valued honor and decency. Some said no. They were too afraid. They had families to think about. They could not risk it. But others said yes. They said they would help. They said they were tired of watching injustice happen and doing nothing. Slowly a plan came together. They would organize a gathering, the largest gathering of Shivani since their world had died. They would bring them together in one place, and they would show the galaxy that the Shivani people still existed, still mattered, and still deserved to live. It was a bold plan, a dangerous plan, but it was necessary. Veltara looked at the star maps, planning routes, sending encrypted messages to other Shivani, asking them to trust her, asking them to be brave one more time. And across human space and beyond, Shivani, who had been hiding for years, made a choice. They chose hope over fear. They chose to answer the call. They chose to believe that maybe, just maybe, things could be different, that maybe the galaxy had not completely forgotten how to be kind. The asteroid facility had been abandoned for 15 years. It had once been a mining operation, but the valuable minerals had run out. The company had left behind the basic structures, pressurized habitats, docking bays, and life support systems. It was perfect for what Hyunwoo and Veltara needed, remote, defensible, and large enough to hold many people. Hyunwoo had used most of his savings to secure temporary rights to the facility. He had called in every favor he had to arrange supplies and equipment. Now, as he watched ships begin to arrive, he hoped it would be enough. The first ship came 2 days early, a small courier vessel. When the airlock opened, a Shivani man stepped out. He was old, his markings faded, and his movements slow. His eyes were wet with tears. "I am Ralvin," he said in the Shivani language. I spoke to Veltara. I could not believe this was real. I had to come early to make sure. Veltara embraced him. It was the first time she had touched another Shivani since her world died. They held each other and wept. No words were needed. The shared loss, the shared pain, the shared hope was enough. More ships arrived. One by one they came. Small ships mostly, personal shuttles, rented transports, old freighters. Each one carried Shivani who had been hiding, who had been alone, who had been afraid. They came from mining colonies and space stations, from farming worlds and industrial centers. They came from everywhere, traveling for days or weeks, risking everything to be here. Veltara stood in the main habitat and watched them arrive. 73 Shivani, more than she had dared to hope for. They were scared. They were tired. But they were here, together. The reunion was overwhelming. Shivani, who had thought their entire families were dead, found cousins and siblings, Friends from childhood recognized each other after 5 years apart. The old ones sang songs that had not been heard since Shavara died. The young ones learned these songs for the first time. Hyunwoo watched from a distance, giving them space. This was their moment, their chance to be themselves without fear or hiding. Lieutenant Soo-jin arrived with a small escort fleet from the UEC Navy. 3 patrol ships. Not much, but it was something. She came aboard the facility to speak with Hyunwoo and Veltara. "This is impressive," she said, looking at the gathered Shivani. "I did not think you could pull it off. But here they are." "Will your ships be enough?" Hyunwoo asked. "If the purification fleet comes." Soo-jin hesitated. "Honestly? No. We are outgunned if they send a serious force. But I have been authorized to request additional support if needed. And there are other ships coming. Not military. Civilian vessels. People who heard about what you are doing and want to help." She was right. Over the next few hours, more ships arrived. Not Shivani this time. Humans. Independent cargo haulers like Hyunwoo. People who had heard the story and decided they needed to be part of it. A captain named Minho came with his heavy freighter. "I have been hauling cargo for 20 years, he said. "I have made good money. But I have never done anything that mattered. Today I do something that matters." A woman named Haewon arrived with her crew. "My daughter asked me if the stories about the Shivani being cursed were true. I told her no. Then she asked me what I was doing to help them. I did not have a good answer. Now I do," more came. Young-soo with his mining ship. Jae-hee with her medical transport. Bo-ra with her passenger liner. One by one, they positioned their ships around the asteroid facility, creating a protective ring, ready to defend if needed. Veltara was overwhelmed. Why are they doing this? They do not know us. We are not their people. They are doing it because it is right, Hyunwoo said. That is enough for some people. Not everyone, but enough. That evening, Veltara stood before the gathered Shivani. She had never been a leader. She had never wanted to be. But now, looking at these people who had risked everything to come here, she knew she had to speak. "My brothers and sisters," she said in their language. 5 years ago our world died. We thought our people would die too. We scattered, we hid. We survived by pretending to be something we were not. But today we stop hiding. Today we say that we are Shivani, and we are still here." The gathered people made sounds of agreement. Their markings glowed in patterns of hope and determination. "I was alone for so long," Veltara continued. "I thought I was the only one. I thought our culture was dead, our songs forgotten. But you are all here. We are all here. Together. And I realize now that as long as we live, as long as we remember, our people are not dead. The bright path still exists." An old woman stood up. "What do we do now, young one? We cannot stay here forever. The purification fleet will come. They will try to kill us. How do we survive?" "We fight," said a voice from the back. It was Hyunwoo. He stepped forward. "Not with weapons. With truth. With courage. You show the galaxy who you really are. Not cursed refugees, not bad luck, but people. Artists and scientists, singers and thinkers. You show them what they have been trying to destroy. And you make them ashamed of what they have done." Another human stepped forward. It was Lieutenant Soo-jin. "The United Earth Coalition is debating sanctuary for your people. The vote is close. But if the galaxy sees you here, sees you together, sees humans defending you, it will change minds. It will create pressure for Earth to act. You being here matters." Before anyone could respond, alarms began to sound. Ship sensors had detected incoming vessels. Many vessels. And they were not friendly. Soo-jin checked her communicator. Her face went pale. "The purification fleet, 12 warships. They are demanding you surrender the Shivani to them." Fear rippled through the room. The Shivani began to panic. They had just found each other. They could not lose each other now. "How long until they arrive?" Hyunwoo asked. 20 minutes, Soo-jin said. "My ships cannot stop them. Even with the civilian vessels, we are badly outnumbered." Veltara felt despair creeping in. They had come so far. They had gathered so many. And now it would all end. The purification fleet would kill them all. Just like everyone had always said, the Shivani were doomed. But then something unexpected happened. More ships appeared on the sensors. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. Civilian ships, human ships, cargo haulers and passenger transports, mining vessels and personal yachts. They came from nearby colonies and distant stations. They came because word had spread, because the news networks had covered the gathering, because people across human space had heard what was happening and decided they could not stand by and watch. The ships positioned themselves between the asteroid facility and the approaching purification fleet. They sent a message. It was broadcast on all frequencies. "This is Captain Minho speaking for the assembled civilian fleet. We are here to protect the Shivani people. If you want to harm them, you will have to go through us first. And we are not just ships. We are witnesses. Every action you take here will be recorded and broadcast across the galaxy. If you attack, the whole universe will know what you are. Murderers of refugees, killers of the innocent. Is that what you want?" The purification fleet slowed. They had expected easy targets. Scared refugees with no defense. They had not expected this. Hundreds of human ships, civilians willing to die to protect aliens they had never met. A tense silence filled the void. The purification fleet hung in space, clearly unsure what to do. Inside the facility, no one breathed. Veltara held Hyunwoo's hand. This was it. This was the moment that would decide everything. Finally, the purification fleet responded. Their leader's voice was cold and angry. "This is not over. You humans are making a mistake. The Shivani are cursed. Helping them will bring disaster to your people. You will regret this." But they did not attack. They could not justify it. Not with so many witnesses. Not when their actions would be broadcast across the galaxy. They turned and withdrew, their ships vanishing into the dark. A cheer erupted in the facility. The Shivani cried and laughed and embraced each other. The humans celebrated too. They had done it. They had faced down the threat without firing a shot. Hyunwoo hugged Veltara. "We did it," he said. "You did it." "No," Veltara said. "We all did it. Together." She looked around at the Shivani people, at the human ships visible through the viewports, at Sujin and her naval officers, at all the people who had chosen to stand up and say that this was wrong, that refugees deserved protection, that fear and hatred would not win today. The bright path was real. It existed not in the stars but in the hearts of people who chose kindness over cruelty, who chose courage over fear, who chose to be better than the galaxy expected them to be. The gathering had been saved. But more than that, something had changed. The galaxy had seen humans defend aliens at great risk to themselves. They had seen ordinary people do something extraordinary, and that changed everything. 6 months had passed since the gathering. Veltara stood at the observation window of the new settlement and watched the sun rise over the landscape. It was not the same as watching sunrise on Shivara. Nothing would ever be the same as that. But it was beautiful in its own way. The settlement was built on a moon in the Centauri system. Not a big moon, but it had everything the Shivani needed. Atmosphere, water, and land suitable for building. The United Earth Coalition had granted them official sanctuary 3 weeks after the standoff with the purification fleet. The political debate had not been easy, but after seeing hundreds of human civilians risk their lives to protect refugees, the politicians could not ignore public pressure. The settlement was still small. Basic housing units, a central gathering hall, greenhouses for food, and systems for power and water. But it was growing. More Shivani arrived every week. Some had been hiding in distant parts of the galaxy, and only now felt safe enough to reveal themselves. Others had heard the stories and decided to take the risk. There were 237 Shivani living here now. Not a large population, but it was a beginning, a chance to rebuild. Veltara had become something she never expected to be, an ambassador. Not because she wanted power or recognition, but because her story had started all of this. People knew her name. They trusted her. When she spoke, people listened. She worked closely with Representative Yoonji of the UEC, a patient woman with gray hair and kind eyes. Together, they were developing protection protocols for other refugee species. The Shivani were not the only ones who had suffered. There were other scattered peoples, other victims of cosmic disasters or wars or prejudice. Veltara wanted to make sure they would have help too. "The galaxy has a short memory," Yoonji had told her. "Right now, people care about the Shivani because your story is fresh. But in a year or 5 years, they will forget. We need to create systems that will last, laws and structures that protect the vulnerable even when it is not popular to do so." It was hard work, political work. Veltara had never imagined herself doing this kind of thing. But she learned. She adapted. She found that she was good at it. She could speak passionately about suffering because she had lived it. She could speak about hope because she had found it. The sound of a ship landing pulled her attention. She smiled. She knew that ship. The Kayonsa touched down on the landing pad near the settlement. The airlock opened and Hyunwoo emerged, followed by 3 Shivani crew members. Ralvin was there, along with 2 younger Shivani named Kira and Thel. They had all joined Hyunwoo's crew over the past few months. The Kayonsa had become famous. The ship that started everything, the symbol of human and Shivani cooperation. Hyunwoo could have sold his story, made money from interviews and endorsements, but he had refused all of that. He just kept doing what he had always done, hauling cargo, taking care of his crew, living according to his principles. Veltara met them at the landing pad. Hyunwoo greeted her with a tired smile. "Long trip?" she asked. 5 stations in 3 weeks, he said, but profitable. And Ralvin is turning into an excellent navigator. Better than you were at first. Ralvin laughed. It was good to hear him laugh. When Veltara had first met him, he had been broken. Years of hiding and fear had damaged him deeply. But working with Hyunwoo, being able to live openly as Shivani, had healed some of those wounds. "How are things here?" Hyunwoo asked as they walked toward the settlement. "Good," Veltara said. "We finished the new greenhouse yesterday, and the school will open next week." "School?" Hyunwoo's eyebrows rose. Veltara's markings glowed with pride. "We have 14 children now. They need education, not just human subjects, but Shivani culture and history. We cannot let our knowledge die with the older generation." They walked through the settlement. Shivani people greeted them warmly. Children ran past playing. Their markings were bright and clear. They had been born after the world died, but they would grow up knowing their heritage, knowing the songs and stories, knowing the bright path. Hyunwoo stopped at the central plaza. A monument stood there, a crystal sculpture that caught the sunlight and broke it into rainbow patterns. Carved into the base were names. Thousands of names. The Shivani who had died when their world was destroyed. "This is new," Hyunwoo said softly. "We dedicated it last week," Veltara said. "So we never forget. So the children know who came before them, what was lost, but also what survived." They stood in silence for a moment. Then Hyunwoo spoke. "I heard from Soo Jin yesterday. She has been promoted. She is now in charge of refugee protection programs for the UEC Navy. She is using what happened here as a model for helping other displaced peoples." "That is good," Veltara said. "Very good." "She also told me something else," Hyunwoo continued. "The Purification Fleet tried to attack another refugee group, a species called the Iro. But when they arrived, there were human ships waiting to defend them. Civilian volunteers, just like at our gathering. The fleet retreated again without fighting. It is becoming a pattern. Humans defending the vulnerable, forcing the bullies to back down." Veltara felt tears in her eyes. Humanity is teaching the galaxy a lesson. That strength is not just about weapons and power. That real strength is standing up for what is right even when it is hard. "My grandmother would have been proud," Hyunwoo said quietly. "She always said that the measure of a person is what they do when no one is watching. But I think it is also what they do when everyone is watching, but it is still dangerous. That takes real courage." They continued walking until they reached the far edge of the settlement. Here construction was beginning on new facilities, homes for more refugees, a medical center, a cultural archive where Shivani knowledge could be preserved. "This place needs a name," Hyunwoo said. "You cannot just call it the settlement forever." Veltara had been thinking about this. She looked at Hyunwoo. "I was thinking of a Korean word, if you do not mind. A word you taught me, Saebyuk, new dawn. Because that is what this place is, not a return to the old world. That is gone. But a new beginning, a new dawn for my people." Hyunwoo's eyes were shining. "Saebyuk, yes, that is perfect." Later they sat together on a hill overlooking the settlement. The twin suns of the Centauri system were setting, painting the sky in colors Veltara had never seen on her old world. Different, but beautiful. "Do you ever think about that day on the station?" Veltara asked. "When you gave me that ration pack, did you know then what would happen?" Hyunwoo laughed. "No, I just saw someone who was hungry. I gave them food. I did not plan any of this." "You changed my life," Veltara said. "You saved me. Not just my body, but my spirit. I had given up." I thought there was no hope left in the galaxy, but you showed me I was wrong. You saved yourself, Hyunwoo said. I just held the door open. Everything after that was your courage, your skill, your heart. You saved Titan Colony. You organized the gathering. You built this place. I just gave you a chance. You did the rest. They sat in comfortable silence. Around them, the sounds of the settlement continued. Children laughing. Adults talking. The hum of machinery. The sounds of life. Of hope. Of future. What will you do now? Hyunwoo asked. Will you stay here? Help build Sebyok? For a while, Veltara said. But not forever. There are other Shivani still out there, still hiding. Someone needs to find them. Tell them it is safe now. Tell them they have a home. And there are other species who need help too. The Hyrule you mentioned. Others. I think I can be useful in that work. Ambassador Veltara, Hyunwoo said with a slight smile. It suits you. And you? Veltara asked. Will you keep flying the Cheonsa? As long as she flies, Hyunwoo said. There's always cargo to haul. And now there are always refugees who need transport to safe places. People who need someone to take a chance on them. Just like I took a chance on you. Veltara leaned against him. This human had become her closest friend. Her family. In the Shivani way of thinking, they had shared so many light feasts under starlight that their inner lights were connected. Forever. Thank you, she said softly. For everything. For seeing me as a person when everyone else saw only a curse. You were never a curse, Hyunwoo said. You were always a gift. The galaxy just needed time to realize it. The stars were beginning to appear in the darkening sky. Veltara looked up at them. Each one a point of light. Each one a connection. The bright path made visible. Below them in the settlement someone began to sing. An old Shivani song. A song about survival and hope. Other voices joined in. The harmony grew. It was the song of starlight. The one that had not been heard complete since their world died. But now it was complete again. All the parts, all the voices together. Hyunwoo listened, not understanding the words but feeling the emotion. The beauty, the sadness and joy mixed together. The sound of a people who refused to die, who chose to live and sing and hope even when the universe seemed determined to destroy them. That is the sound of victory, he said quietly. Not military victory. Something better. The victory of the human spirit, or the Shivani spirit, the spirit of all good beings who choose light over darkness. Veltara's markings glowed in response to the song, patterns of light that told stories older than human civilization.